Welcome back. You are chatting with John P. Today, we are going to be talking about how to become a watch dealer. The thing is, through DelReyWatch.com, both my and Federico's site where we buy, sell, and trade pre-owned luxury watches and service and a whole other bunch of different things that include luxury watches, we just get a lot of phone calls and emails from usually younger guys that want to get their feet wet in the industry, and I figured I would just address all of these here because there are some things you just need to do prior to trying to become a dealer or working for one. But first, I'd like to thank you for liking and subscribing. If you're back and you have not subscribed already, please do so, and also hit that thumbs up button because it'll tell YouTube that basically you want to see me keep making more videos. It's like in today's day, YouTube is really getting strict with their content. There's a lot of people producing, and the thumbs up really does help. So if you could do that, I would definitely appreciate it. And also, if you're new to the channel, what we do is we talk about watches, vintage watches, and a lot of the industry, right? I've got a business background, so I apply a lot of that to what we talk about in terms of watches, and it's an interesting perspective, so stick around and we'll make more videos. And also, DelReyWatch.com, where you can see watches like this. Today, I'm wearing a vintage Omega. It's an Omega Genève, so it's a little more approachable. A great value prop from a powerhouse name from a time where they were still developing themselves, and a time in watchmaking history in the 60s where things really, I guess you could say, started picking up to what we see the watch world to be today. So let's talk about it. There's a list of things that I've comprised here that either you need to do or be aware of to become a watch dealer, and I hope that some of you find this interesting, and I definitely hope that this helps many of you if you do want to become a dealer. So first, you need to know the lingo. In watches, there are so many different terms and keywords and buzzwords and slang. In order to be in the watch world, you just need to know the lingo. You need to know the parts. You need to know some types of movements. You need to know everything that you could consider to be in a glossary of watch words. Now, there are many sites on the internet where you can find lists of terms, but I would say probably the best way to learn the terms is to go on the watch collector forums. Both Watch You Seek and the Rolex forums are usually the best for this, as well as watch a lot of videos. If you watch a lot of YouTube videos, now of course I'm a little bit biased here because I do have a video channel, but if you watch the videos, you go on the forums, you'll start picking up terms, and you need to be able to speak the language of watch dealers, not only from a collector perspective, but also from a dealer perspective, right? Like box and papers, naked is without box and paper. So little terms like that. So that's the first thing, learn the lingo. Next, we have the brands. Now, I think it goes without saying that you need to know all of the brands, including the major brands that are available, in order to be trading them, buying them, selling them, and also be aware of the industry. Now, you can't just focus on the brands that you like. You can't just focus on Rolex, Omega, and maybe Patek. You need to focus on the smaller brands like the Grams, the Girard Perregaux, even throw in some Vacheron, some JLC, and maybe even get into the independent brands like Kari Voutilainen, FP Journe, De Bethune, some of the independent manufacturers. These watches, they actually do come up a lot. We get offered things that are so uncommon at Del Rey Watch, and if both Federico and myself were not familiar with these brands, we could pass up a really great deal and potentially miss out on a great opportunity to offer you or consumers or customers some really great buys. And so you absolutely need to know the brands. There's no way around it. And there's so many, once again, the sites that I mentioned, the YouTube channels, and also just going to other dealers and browse through their inventory and learn about what is available. There's no better way to learn about the brands as well as pricing than just going to your favorite dealers like Del Rey Watch and just learning about the brands. So the next thing or item in the list of how to become a watch dealer is you absolutely need experience. Now, basically with my experience in this industry is I was a long-time collector for about 10 years, of course, relatively speaking, long-time collector, as well as I had been trading on the forums for quite a number of years. Now, Federico, my business partner, he's actually been in the industry, both at the vice president level as well as sales and marketing and a whole number of things. So he really did have a lot of that on-hands watch experience. He also managed a watch service center for some time. And so someone on your team, whether it's yourself or your business partner, needs to really have been in the industry. Now, For the younger guys, I would absolutely recommend to get yourself a sales position at an authorized dealer. The larger the authorized dealer, the wider array of customers and watches you're going to work with. So if you can get a job at something like a Tourneau or a Wimpy or, even a boutique for a specific brand for that matter, you're going to learn so much about how the watch industry works, how watches are traded, how they're bought, how they're sold, and this is all pretty much protected information that you will only learn from a boutique or a store or a dealership. Now, if you want to trade pre-owned watches, perhaps try to get a job at, a pre-owned dealer such as Delray Watch. We're actually hiring a salesperson, so if you are interested, drop a line, info@delraywatch.com. And so that's really what I recommend in terms of the experience. Get your feet wet. If perhaps you're a little bit later in your career, there's really no alternative. You just need to jump in. You either need to know everything about trading the watches or learn it from a friend, if possible, if they're in the industry, or you just need to get into a boutique or an AD and learn how the trading works. Next, you need to focus on social media. Now, both seeing what businesses are doing or watch dealers are doing on social media, as well as developing a little bit of your own social media presence. Now, the thing with social media is you can see a lot of engagement, right? You can see, once again, things from the above. You can see the experience, you can see the brands, and you can see the lingo. Now, on social media, everything is very quick. People are typing quick, they're using shorthand, and you can see a lot of kind of the buzzwords, the keywords, and also the watches that people are interested in. The things that have more likes, generally speaking, are more popular, and that's something to take note of. One of the things that I noticed all the time is there's certain models and certain colors and certain styles of watches. Now, it could be from Rolex, Omega, or even smaller brands like a Zenith. There are certain trends that you notice that people like, right? Like blue dialed sports watches are extremely popular. Every time that we are offered a blue dial sports watch, we pretty much buy it if the price is right. And these are things that you can really only notice either through experience or social media. So if, for example, you don't have your feet in the door at one of these dealers or boutiques or trading companies, then just go on social media and try to find trends. You'll see a lot about what people talk about, the trends, and this will help you so much because a big part of this industry is spotting the trends and trying to be on the forefront of that and being able to provide things that people actually want instead of being stuck with a bunch of inventory that really the watch market is not going after, whether there's too many floating around or just by chance if it just doesn't happen to be a very in-demand watch or watch type. So that's something you need to consider. You need to be on the social media. You need to be going into the comment section of YouTube videos. You need to really be engaging with people on the internet to find out what people want, right? In business, you need to give the people what they want. Otherwise, why do you exist? So you need to find out those trends, and social media is probably the best way. Now, the other thing you can do, now, of course, I offer this channel here, John P. and Federico Talks Watches. He offers a channel, and there's other dealers that offer their opinions and advice on their YouTube channels. Another great way, once again, not saying just my own, but everyone out there, watch the channels of the dealers. There are many, there's guys that'll sometimes say, this is biased, this is about the business. Well, hey, if you'd like to be a watch dealer, just do what watch dealers do. Listen to what they have to say on YouTube. Now, whether it's Watchbox or it's Long Island Watch or some of the other guys or even Theo and Harris, watch their channels as well and kind of mesh together and draw conclusions based on all of this information. I think it's pretty fair to say that generally speaking on YouTube, a lot of us are here to help. So, whether it's ask some questions in the comments or just watch the channel and take little snippets out. And the same strategy could be had for any industry, right? If you want to be a car dealer, watch what car dealers do. If you want to be a doctor, watch what doctors do. If you want to be a watch dealer, watch what watch dealers do. Now, that's a bit of a mouthful, but it's very fair to say if you want to do something, find someone that has done it before you. And lastly, now this is number one and it's key, and I see so many guys, usually younger guys, either my age or younger, and they want to get their feet wet in the industry, and they'll set up a little website, and they'll go gung-ho, and with this attitude to take on the world, and unfortunately, they end up getting into little fights over watch deals. Now, this is a huge issue, and you see, sometimes a guy will buy a watch from a jewelry store and then try to sell it on this other platform and do a little bit of arbitrage. The problem with this is you never want to make an enemy in this business. In the watch community, it's very similar to the jewelry industry and the diamond industry. A lot of these guys are also have their hands in many industries. You do not want to make an enemy. It's a handshake business. Everything is done on a handshake. So there's no contracts. Your word is all you have. If a deal goes south, and especially if a deal goes south and you're new to the industry, forget about it. You might as well pack up your bags and go to law school or med school or go to trade school at that point. You're not going to be a watch dealer. With both myself and Federico, we try so hard to keep everyone happy, whether it's customers or dealers, because all it takes is one bad scenario and it's all over in this industry. Everything is your word, handshake, and it needs to be a good, honest transaction, or let's face it, to be very blunt with you, there are big players in this industry that will make sure that you never trade a watch again. Now, we're a very small player here, to be very honest with you. There are very large players that control this industry, and if something goes bad, everyone finds out about it, and the word travels, and it's not something you want to do. So if you're jumping into this industry, you want to be very eager to learn, you want to keep an open mind, and you want to be very friendly. Take advice from the big guys. Once again, we're smaller compared to some of these larger guys that control the industry. Just take advice from them, be very nice, and do not get into any fights, because I promise you it will not turn out well, and I see it all the time, and it's a shame because, sometimes things happen, but you may have to take a hit or two just to keep people happy and keep the business moving. So here's been the list, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you do want to get your feet wet in the industry. Once again, we are hiring. Or if perhaps you've been in the industry and you left, or also if you'd like to see more videos like this. I've got a little bit of a project I'm working on that's kind of in the same vein as this, and I'd like to gauge your feedback to see if this is something that I should pursue. So if you're thinking about becoming a watch trader, a watch flipper, or perhaps you just want to get into the industry, leave the comments below, as well as specific questions that you have, and I'll try to answer it the best I can. I try to reach everyone as soon as I can, but we do get a little bit busy here at delraywatch.com. Anyway, guys, quick video on how to become a watch dealer. Comments below, like, subscribe, thumbs up, Instagram, The Real John P. You have been chatting with John P. Ciao.